This is Marja being Baloch from Pakistan, and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Itihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So today I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic. It is actually a relationship advice for people who are in relationship or are looking for a relationship. And now having this advice or hearing this advice from somebody like me who is an epic failure in the domain of relationships is such a paradox. But then again, people who are an epic failure can tell you a lot about not failing or making mistake in certain aspects. So I hope that this advice would definitely help people who are in such situations and are going through whatever. So this and also I would like to say that I would link it with of course, like I always link all the events and all my understanding to Torah. I will link this advice and this explanation to Torah and to the divine text. So it will have, a certain amount of significance. But like I always said, I'm no expert. I haven't been converted to Judaism. So if you like this, great. If you don't like it, think it as a bullshit or whatever, and just I mean, there's someone who commented in one of my videos and like, I'm delusional, satanic vibes. I mean, seriously. So yeah, anyway, so my advice, and I think, and I would like to believe actually, all these great rabbis who give such amazing relationship advice, and I would share the link of JTD Oliver's wonderfully explained the whole concept of and then also Rabbi Manis Friedman too. He's a relationship expert rabbi so far. So obviously they're amazing in explaining what and how to go about things. But my perspective, I think, is a very feminine perspective and somewhat a secret of all the women. Behold, a secret of women. So behold all men. Here is a Pakistani woman who is miserably single, who is an epic failure in relationship and delusional and has satanic vibes, has an advice which she would explain in the light of Torah to what a woman actually sees in a relationship or sees in a man, and how does she goes about it. I once heard this beautiful thing from Rabbi Jonathan Sacks. He said that Sigmund Freud, who is the father of psychology and everything, he once said that the world would know one day that he gets his inspiration of understanding human psychology from Torah. And Torah is nothing but human psychology. I couldn't even agree more. And I'm starting this journey of understanding the human beings in the light of Torah, because I feel that these are such profound words from Sigmund Freud and also from Rabbi Jonathan Sacks. So a woman, when she sees a man, she has like 3 categories, and this goes back to the creation of woman in Shemaim, in heavens. When a woman sees a man, she sees him through 3 categories. So we women have 3 categories in our head when we are evaluating or we are seeing a man. So the first category is Adam. The first category is HaShem, because we're feminine, women is feminine, so we see HaShem in the masculine energy. Similarly, and that this is not a rabbinical thing, this is how I understand it. This is how this is how I drive the wisdom of Torah and the teaching. So if a woman would connect to Hashem, it would be like, I'm a feminine energy, and for me Hashem would be a masculine energy. And then if a Jewish man would connect to Hashem, it would connect with Hashem in a feminine aspect, but collectively all the men and the Bnei Israel would see Hashem in a masculine light, and Hashem would see the entire Israelite as a feminine aspect. Now, why is that? Is because the relationship of Israelites and Hashem is of marital dynamics. Let's just say that. So Israel is literally just like Eve has come out of Adam. Israel has come out of Hashem, and they are married. Okay, so this is a deep concept, and people would definitely think I'm devotional. Okay, whatever. I don't care. So a woman would see in a man the aspects in a way that Hashem or Adam or the serpent. The serpent, everybody remembers the serpent. So yeah, 3 categories. Now the men that she sees in the light of Hashem, or in the context that bracket, that area that she has, are the men who she feels that would protect her, would nurture her, would safeguard her feminism, her needs, her existence. In that context, you can say, relatives like father, she would see her father in that category. That masculine entity of her father is placed in that category. Or her brothers, elder brothers, or uncles who are, there to protect her, nurture her, are there to, sort of, are part of her, as a father. If father actually gives you birth, just like Hashem made Eve out of, Adam. And then I will talk about serpent. Now, who are the serpents? When a woman feels that this person has used me, majority of the time when there are breakups and women repeatedly keep on saying, he used me, he tricked me, he tricked me. This is epigenetics, just like Rabbi Jacobson says. This is our epigenetics from heaven, from HaShemayim, that we swiftly say, this guy tricked me to do this, or tricked me to, he took advantage of me, or this, just like the serpent did. So a woman, even if she is in a relationship, and when she goes into a relationship, she goes into that relationship looking for an Adam, for her Adam, the one she has come out from, or she has been created out of. So she goes into that relationship, and then she realizes, oh my God, this is a serpent, and all of a sudden she would say, he used me and he tricked me. So this whole thing is there. Now, how do women differentiate between who is their Adam and who is the serpent? It's very simple. Actually, not very simple, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. Now, if we see in the Bereshit, in Genesis, Adam is very, very straightforward. He doesn't mince word. He doesn't put filters into his conversations and stuff. When Hashem asked them, did you eat from the fruit? Did you eat from the tree of knowledge? Adam said, yes. Eve made me eat the fruit, and you created Eve, and this woman that you gave me, she made me eat this fruit. He didn't, sugar-coated it, or he didn't want it to, he didn't even think for a moment that, how would Eve feel if I say I would put the blame on her. People, rabbis, and, people actually see that he puts the blame to Eve, but it was the fact. It was the fact that it was Eve who went with the serpent and who got the fruit from the tree of knowledge, and he convinced Adam to, eat the fruit and nothing will happen. So he reported the truth. And it also reminds me of the Parshat, the Shalach Parshat, the Parsha, Shalach, where, Moses sends these scouts to, investigate the land and investigate and go into the land of Israel and see how is the land, how are the people, and how can we, strategize our, going into Eretz Israel, and how should we be prepared to, for the combat or the resistance that we will get from these people. And obviously, HaShem told the Israelites that there are people who are idol worshippers and they're immoral, and I command you to, go into this land and clear this holy land for me and kill all these inhabitants. And they did actually. So and these spies, who were actually male spies, they went to Eretz Israel and they reported the truth. And their report was so horrifying. They were just telling the truth. They were telling the truth that there are people there who are giants, and the giants, Nephilim, I think they're called Nephilim. So they are the offsprings of the human and I think angels. I think that's the thing. Human and the angels from heaven came and mated with the women in those. It is like a very complicated. So so they mated and they had these giant people, because they were half angelic and half human. So obviously, and these people just came and reported that they have giants, and that the land is very fertile and everything, and they have cities which are which are guarded and everything, their walls and stuff. So we would have to do a lot of work and a lot of preparation if we are going there to, on a mission of, on a military mission actually. And it was just the Eretz Israel, the Bnei Israel was very disappointed and hurt, and they lost their motivation, their urge, and they got scared, they got intimidated. And this tells us this lesson also, that we must have faith in HaShem and we shouldn't be easily intimidated by things. And some of the Chazal actually comment that instead of sending male scouts to Eretz Israel, Moshe and Aaron should have said female scouts, because female scouts have this ability of sophisticating things, or portray a sophisticated narrative. Now, I know that some people who are aware with the Talmudic stuff, they would say, well, the serpent is actually praised in the Talmud, and it is said that it is the symbol of wit and sophistication and intelligence. Wrong! It is a wrong interpretation. Serpent is not sophistication. Okay? There is a difference between sophistication. There is a difference between sophistication and deceiving. This is deceiving. You're going this way, and then you're going this way, and then you're going this way, and then you're going. This is deceiving. Sophistication is a different thing. As a woman, we were created very sophisticated. There was Adam. He was put on sleep, a deep sleep, quietly. Then HaShem specifically picked out one rib and, sort of got the feminine energy from his soul, separated his soul into half, and then put there is this sophistication in the creation of women. We are the only creation that HaShem created out of a living being. So there is a huge amount of sophistication in our creation. And then, when we talk about the Mishkan, now in the Mishkan, there is Shekhinah. Shekhinah is a feminine energy of HaShem, feminine aspect of HaShem. And the Shekhinah was present in the Mishkan. And look at the sophistication and the specification that Torah tells how to build the Mishkan, the segregation, the design, the curtains. You know why we women love curtains? That's the reason. So it's all epigenetics right above from heaven. It's not even the epigenetics from this world. Actually, this is the epigenetics from heaven that is still in our brains, and this is how we work in our relationships. Now, when a woman sees a man is deceiving her, she gets offended. And in fact, in Genesis, HaShem has put a curse on the relationship of the woman and the serpent. If a woman is very vigilant to spot this man who is acting like a serpent, who is deceiving her. She's very, very conscious that if, my boyfriend is cheating me, he is cheating me, or, the vigilance, is he cheating me? Is he betraying? Is he deceiving me? Am I with the Adam or the serpent? So all the women, when they are like this, they are, we as women, we are inherently conscious that are we having a relationship, or are we partnering with a serpent or Adam? And Adam, the quality of Adam is that he's very straightforward. He doesn't mince word. He doesn't deceive in his speech. He says things as they are. If he says, yes, I'm ready to be your husband and be there for you, and then he does that. He's not like, yeah, I will marry you. No, I will not. Yes, I will. No. Yes, you're my girlfriend. No, you're not. Now I'm cheating. Now I'm not. It's not like that. So this is deceiving. Serpent is deceiving. Woman is sophistication and specification. So this is who we are. We are sophisticated, and specifically, we're very specific. And the second most important thing, one thing is that there shouldn't be any deceiving. A woman shouldn't feel that she is being used or she is being deceived. She should have clarity from the potential person who has come into her life as her Adam. And the second thing is the ability to stand with him. A woman needs an assurity that under no circumstances, under anything, any circumstances change or any situation, this man will leave me alone. So if a man is able to assure a woman that no matter what happens, no matter what are the circumstances, I would never give up on you. I would never leave you alone. I think she can do anything for that man. If he would say, forget about your career, forget about this and that, just be a housewife and have my 12 children, she would happily have his 12 children. But you shouldn't, but then again, the man shouldn't be like, he shouldn't be like that. That's one day is like this, the other day is like, what's going on? So the clarity and I think that's what attracts women. When men take a stand and they commit themselves to that stand, in my opinion, that's the biggest sex appeal. And I think the most handsome men on this planet are the ones who have the guts to take a stand and be man enough to say, no matter what happens, I believe in this thing and I'm standing up for it. Come what may be, I will not change my position. And I think this attracted me so much in Sidhu Moosewala. That's why I said I think he's my ideal, because this fearlessness. I mean, just imagine Adam cleaved, Eve, and he was ready to go into a wonderland in a world that he has never seen, and it's the lowest world. It has a lot of challenges, and he says, yes, let's go. Eve, don't worry, we have eaten the food and it was all your fault. It was you should know this. But now we're going to go to, and then again, it's such a, I mean, there was this Harvard study where, and they said that, female managers are less likely to take risks as compared, and I studied it in my, I think, second semester of my MS in my last degree. So there was this case study that women and it was conducted it was a case study taught in Harvard, and it was a real thing that they did a research on that female CEOs or high-end executives in corporate sector are less likely to take risk, but their risk, if they take risk, they are more than men. They are able to achieve their goals. So if either they would not take any riskier decisions, but if they do take riskier decisions in terms of corporate investments or other mergers or whatever, their decisions are much more successful than their male counterparts. And I see that this psychology of not taking risk reluctantly or just not thinking about it comes again from Genesis, from Bereshit. That we have this guilt memory. We are the ones who made Adam eat that apple, and that's why we are on this earth. So this guilt memory is in our head, that we have to be super duper duper careful in making decisions which are which involve a risk, or which you don't know. Like you eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge, you don't know what will happen. You will die or you not. So that risk averseness has come from that epigenetic, that we are still guilty, because obviously it's not like Adam blaming Eve. He was just telling the truth. She brought the fruit from the tree of knowledge. She convinced me and made me eat it. That was the fact. He was not blaming. I mean, blaming is something that if somebody has not done anything and you say, because of you this has happened. So that's sort of a thing. But that was the fact. It was Eve who brought the fruit, and it was Eve who convinced Adam to eat it, and she ate it first and then gave it to Adam. So we live in that guilt. That's why our decision. And the other day I went to meet not the other day, actually a few days ago, I went to see one of my friends, and this one person, we were discussing stuff, and he said, I saw this woman, and she was standing, and the road was empty, and she was still looking if there is any cars coming so she could cross the road. The dog crossed the road, and she was still looking that there is, if she would, cross the road or not. So I think that also comes from there, that we have this guilt mentality. We need to be super duper careful. And super duper careful, we need to be assured that, yes, this is a correct decision, and we should, we even evaluate risk to their optimum, and then, make a decision. So, a woman would see a man who she can trust. And there is this amazing thing that my sister and we were discussing, that, at times, these men say, these successful men, maybe drug dealers, or, those weapon sellers, or filthy rich men. They say our wives cheat on us. They took our money and they ran away with the gardener. Or their bodyguard, or somebody who can't even afford a living. So I don't understand this. These women they're stupid. I have everything. I have provided this woman this gigantic mansion, these cars. I'm a drug dealer. I am. Look at me. I'm just. I can find her and kill her and that guy. But look at this woman. She thought that she could run away and take my money. And I think the reason is that many of the men think that the women actually want their money, actually want their big houses and their Maseratis and their Lamborghinis and their what is that? All those fancy cars and diamonds and this and no. They need a man. A woman needs a man who would stand with her, and she knows that he would never lose it. He would never leave her alone. He will stand with her even if the entire world is against her. He will stand with her. He would never leave her. Just like Adam didn't leave Eve, and he took up the challenge and he said, okay, fine. If Eve has come out of me and she's part of me and she have made this mistake, we will face the consequences of our mistakes together. That amount of, courage is the thing that keeps a woman attached to a man. The moment a woman realizes that this man is using me, deceiving me, he's saying something and he's doing another, and he would leave me any time or at any given opportunity of a better woman than me or whatever, when she senses that, she would pack the bags and she would run away with some gardener or some, whatever, the security person, or, somebody who doesn't even have money, but he has that courage that, yes, come, let's go, we will run away and I will see what your husband can do. That amount of courage takes a lot of courage. And that miserable guy who's a drug dealer or a weapon seller and filthy rich, he is saying, how can my wife do this? It's such an insulting. These women are crazy. They're not crazy. Evaluate yourself also. What are you, a serpent or are you a man? So, and serpent is not intellect and sophistication. Serpent is deceiving. Sometimes deceiving maneuvers seem like, this is very sophisticated and intelligent move. A person who's using his head to deceive other people, obviously he has a certain amount of intellect to, fool other people. But that's not sophistication. Women are sophisticated. Women are intelligent. And they are intelligent. That's why it's them who can sense the serpent inside a man. And that's why they leave that. Because they want to be with an Adam. And if the women would be with the Adam, only then the goodness of humanity can prevail. And this humanity will go on. If women would cease to differentiate this, deceiving and sophistication, or this differential between the serpent and the Adam, the world would just come to an end instantly. So I think all those women should cherish your inherent godly psychology and everything, and read Torah in that context. Apply it to your way of thinking, the way of living, and the way of perceiving the world and humanity. It's such a wonderful, and it's a gewildig thing. It's intoxicating. I don't know how people would just find fun in alcohol or drugs when Torah is way much more intoxicating in such a divine way that it's amazing. I hope you like this video, and I hope you understand this concept, and I hope it helps somehow